September 2nd, 2020 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. We will begin our agenda and public meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Wentz, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, original, God, and of liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have two absences tonight. I'm going to read the roll of all I see who are here. If you could just say, acknowledge it, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to go in the order that everyone appears on my screen, and I'm going to try and stick to the same order throughout, just so you get used to when your name's going to be called. Commissioner Krieger.
Present.
Commissioner Riley.
Present.
Commissioner Mayo.
Here.
Commissioner Saunders.
Present.
Okay, and we have two absences. Then I'd like to begin our regular meeting.
Could you call Commissioner Roshansky as well, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Sorry.
Commissioner Wasansky. Yes.
Present.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the August 25th, 2020 Zoning Board of Appeals special meeting. Would someone please make a motion?
Motion.
Commissioner Rosansky made a motion, and there was a second. Commissioner Riley was at a second from Commissioner Riley. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Corrections, comments?
No. No.
Okay. All in favor of accepting the
No.
minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
It looks like everyone has said aye or raised their hand, unanimously approved. Before we begin the applications, I'd like to introduce Mr. Cordone, town attorney, who will set forth a few notes or rules for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm James Cordone, one of the town attorneys. And for the record, this is the September 2nd regular meeting of the Trumbull Zoning Board of Appeals. It's being conducted pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order 7B and 7I by video conference and teleconference over the telephone and internet. Materials for this evening's meeting and all the applications presented tonight were posted on the town website 24 hours in advance of the meeting. I would ask all commissioners and participants to remember to please identify yourself before speaking for the benefit of those who may be listening only by telephone. And I would ask the chairman to make sure that all votes are conducted by roll call vote. Lastly, I'd like to advise everyone this meeting is being recorded. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cordone. We have, I understand we have 3 applications on the agenda tonight. One has been continued. When I state the application, I'll state the number of the application, street address, and name of the applicant. I apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Each applicant and any in favor of that applicant will be able to, or any residents in favor of that applicant will be able to address the Zoning Board of Appeals, and then we'll hear from anyone in opposition. Any letters that have been submitted have been provided to the commissioners. They don't need to be read into the record. They've been provided to all of us. That being the case, let's proceed with the first one. It's application 20-21, 43 Beach Street, Jeffrey Wagner. One thing I'd also like to add is, as we did at our August 25th special meeting, we're going to close the proceedings after each application is heard, so the public won't be able to speak. You'll be able to hear us, the commissioners, debate and vote on it. Then we'll open the proceeding again and go on to the next application. All right, so sorry. Application 20-21, 43 Beach Street, Jeffrey Wagner. Please come forward.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear us?
Yes, please state your name and address for the record.
Perfect. Not a problem. So my name is Amanda Wagner, and my spouse is Jeff Wagner, and we live at 43 Beach Street. Tonight, we are asking for some permission to be able to build a 19 by 12 deck on the back of our property attached to our house. The 19 foot is against our house, and it's 12 feet out. The purpose of the deck is because we really enjoy eating outside. And so we really want to have a dining table outside to be able to enjoy with our grill. It's a standard size table, and that's the reason why we came up with the dimensions that we did. We also are aware of the fire codes when it comes to having a grill, and so that's the reason why we have it 12 feet out, so that way we are in accordance to like that 10-foot rule. We also, I don't know whether or not I'm allowed to share my screen. I don't know how many folks are able to see our property. Is that possible to share screens?
Mr. Cordone, is it acceptable for them to share their screen?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, please do. And just so you know, Mrs. Wagner, each of the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals and staff has your application package, including the plans.
Perfect. Yep, I'm not showing plans. I'm more showing just images of our home or our property, because I don't know how many folks have driven by. So I just wanted to showcase these. Can you see?
Yes.
Perfect. So we ended up taking a look at the properties in our area, and we noticed that several of them, all the ones in red, all have decks. If they're in blue, they're in construction. And so our neighbor, we're not doing an anomaly for our neighborhood. A lot of other folks have raised decks. And if we scroll down, hold on a quick second. This is the view of our backyard. Is this the view from the property line, or is this from
This
the
is
window?
ground view, my back against our foundation.
So that way you can see a little bit about our property, about what that kind of looks like looking out from our property. And then this is from where our sliding glass door already exists. So we have a sliding glass door with a pretty steep set of stairs. And we have a 3-year-old. And so the reason why we want to build that deck is to be able to also take away those stairs and have a much smaller set of stairs to go out into our back property. And so this is the view that we would have from our deck. And then the last one, this is from Google Images. So this is our actual property, and you can see a massive amount of trees in our back property. And then the last one from Google Images showcases, this is the back view of our house. And so you can see that there's a lot of trees that provides a lot of privacy and a lot of blockage for the area. So I just wanted to share those with you. I'll stop sharing my screen now, and I'll leave it open to any questions that you all might have.
Okay. How far into the setback are you going? The setback, looking at the plans, how deep is the setback required to be in the rear lot?
I believe the requirement is 50 feet. Anything within 50 feet, we need the variance. I think our house, if I remember our A2 survey correctly, it's already within that 50 feet. I think it's at 43, if I remember correctly. And then the deck, if you're adding 12 feet on, it would go so that there's 31 feet to the property line.
Right. And in your application, you said that the existing property was built prior to current zoning regulations. So the house was built before zoning regulations existed, meaning the
Yes.
foundation?
Correct.
Yeah, our house is built in 1948. We moved into it in 2018.
Okay. So it's a pre-existing non-conforming use. Looks like you're increasing that non-conformity. In the trees, I went by the house today. It looks like a lot of those trees are on the neighbor's property. Are any of them on your property?
Yes.
Some of them are.
There is a 6-foot high fence that our neighbor installed, I think, last year. But there are a decent amount of trees on our side of the property as well.
Okay, so that fence is on your neighbor's side?
Correct.
Yes,
Wait, and is that the white fence? The white fence is your neighbor's, not yours?
Correct.
correct. The 6-foot fence.
And what about the fencing that appears to go around your side yard?
That's ours.
That's ours. The smaller 3 or 4 foot one, that's ours.
Okay, got it. And are you aware of your neighbors? I know you have 2 letters of support from other neighbors. Are you aware of your directly behind neighbor's letter that has been submitted in opposition?
We read her letter, yes.
Yeah. Do you want to respond to anything that's in that letter now?
I think we talked, or Amanda talked about the privacy issue. I saw she submitted 2 photos as well. I thought the photos didn't show too much. It seemed like it was a pretty obstructed view. One looked like it was from the corner of our property, or her property. One looked like it was over her 6-foot fence. In terms of noise, we have a 3-year-old daughter who takes a 2-hour nap every day from 1 to 3, and she goes to bed at 8 o'clock, between 8 and 8:30 every night. So we've never heard of any noise issues from any of our neighbors. I really don't think that should be taken into account because I really don't think it's an issue. If we were loud, our daughter wouldn't be sleeping.
And that would be a hindrance to us.
Yeah.
But I think the other things you mentioned was like some privacy. She mentioned about noise, but ultimately we're going to be out on the deck when it's mostly the foliage is out. I'm not going to be out there in the winter time. I hate the cold.
Yeah, we're gonna, like Amanda said, we're gonna be out there to eat dinners, maybe lunches if we're still working from home in the future, but mostly dinners, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And I think she mentioned something about devaluation of her house property, but I mean, since we've gotten here in 2018, we've made the landscape look much better. We've done bushes and nice floral arrangements around the house. We've cut down some trees that obstructed the view around the corner. So I think overall we've improved the value of our house and the value of the neighborhood since we've been here.
Thank you very much. I don't have any further questions. The other commissioners might. I'm just going to go in order and keep the same order tonight. Commissioner Krieger, do you have any questions for the Wagners? You're still on mute.
What is the lot size?
We're a 1/4 acre.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Riley, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Mayo, do you have any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Rosansky, any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Saunders, any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who on the line or on Zoom who'd like to speak in favor of application 20-21? Please come forward. Mr. Chin, is there anyone else that you can see that we don't have
Yes,
up?
there is. Miss Bendick is coming in.
Okay. Sorry, is there anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of application 20-21?
Yes, please. I couldn't get myself off of mute. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry, this is for people who'd like to speak in favor of application 20.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not me.
Okay, hearing none. Is there anyone here, Mrs. Bendick, who would like to speak in opposition to application 20-21? Please come forward.
That would be me. I'm sorry.
No problem, no apologies necessary.
And I thought I was on video here, but anyway, I'm not gonna, obviously the letter is in record, and I did notice in reviewing the pictures that were shown to all of you, the height of the trees. Now, please note that those trees did exist when I moved in over 24 years ago, and they're very tall, which means a lot of the trees, it looks like a lot of coverage because the leaves are way high up in the air. And leaves do fall and are bare 3 seasons of the year. So it's not just the summer. You know, I'm not going to have anything for the majority of the year. So I don't think the picture they took depicted actually looking down in the yard, because I don't know if you realize that the deck they want to put in is about 11 feet high off the ground. And almost half the size of their house, being the 19 feet. And I did pay to put that 6-foot white fence in to give us both as a kind gesture for a neighbor, to have privacy for both of us. Also, you know, just little things like the headlights and all were coming into my kitchen because that was bothering me a bit. So I said, you know what, let me just put the 6-foot high fence, and we should all be happy. So I'm sure they appreciate that, and it certainly looks nice. But I just wanted to point out that the pictures don't really depict the true sense of the yard. And just so you know, I am hiring someone to prune the pine trees on both sides, and I really want them to start taking some of the branches off the back because of all these storms we've had. I really don't want one falling on my house. So I do have to spend money and have someone come out to at least see if there's any limbs that that they know of that may fall in the future. So I would like to do some pruning. And I'm sure you could all appreciate that due to the storms we've been having lately. And as far as, you know, noise, I don't want to get it. It doesn't matter who's living there. Once the deck is up, it's up. I deal with, I work from home now since March, and I really can't even sit on my back patio and read a book in the evening. Very hard to concentrate. So, you know what, everyone could do whatever they want in their yard. I get all that. They have a patio that they enjoy, they use, they put that in when they first came there. And I don't even have a deck. I think that there was a red thing around my house. I don't have a deck. I have a patio that I had to pay to put in because their zoning regulations didn't allow me to put a deck up. So in any event, that's I don't want to rehash anything else, but to me, there is no hardship. And learning on what the Board of Appeals is here to do in our town, I'm the one that's going to be the most impacted by this. And again, there's no legal hardship whatsoever, and it's a nice to do. And I realize that people around here are putting up decks, but if someone didn't object, and I know some people around here that quickly went in and tried to get one in because the house next to them was for sale. So before anyone could object, they went in and did that, or their backyards do not abut to anyone directly. So that's something to consider too, you know, layouts of the house. I hope that all makes sense to you. And value of a home, to be honest, I wouldn't buy my house. I'm always looking. And I wouldn't buy my house with a deck that size, that high in my backyard. I also have a real estate license. I am a realtor, and I have been since 1998.
Thank you, Ms. Bendick. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Commissioner Krieger, do you have any questions? Commissioner Riley?
No questions.
Commissioner Mayo?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just one quick question.
Yeah.
If I may ask, how high is this deck off grade?
Off grade on the end closer to the corner of our house, it's 8 feet because of our landscape, or just under, I believe 7'10". And then as it goes closer to the middle of the house, it's only 4 feet off the ground.
All right, thank you. No
Well,
further
your
questions.
plans show 11 feet, so.
11 feet is with the on the far end with a 3-foot high guardrail.
Okay. Commissioner Mayo, any further questions?
No further questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Commissioner Rosansky, any questions? Joe? Joe, you're on mute.
Excuse me, one question. Regarding they mentioned the height. First, I thought it was 11 feet, but it's 8 feet plus the 3 feet for the guardrail.
Yeah.
Is there a fence or around the perimeter, or what type of? You have to be a fence because of the height.
Yeah, it looks like, if you look at the plans, it looks like there's 3 feet of guardrail.
Correct.
Railing, 3 feet of railing around the perimeter, including the stairs.
Yes.
That's all. Thank you.
And the 2 pictures that I sent in, one is that depicts that's looking right over my fence that doesn't cover the height of the kitchen whatsoever. And the other one is looking up just to show you that I am downhill. That was the whole reason for that. Nothing more than that. Downhill. Noise travels downhill.
Thank you.
I'm kind of in a hole.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Thank
Bennett.
you.
Commissioner Saunders, any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Is there anyone else here who'd like to speak in opposition to application 20-21? Please come forward. Okay, at this point, we're going to close the public hearing with respect to application 20-21, and the members of the ZBA will independently consider it. I just want to make one clarification. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of us. Who are the alternates? I just want to make sure that everyone is voting who should vote. Mr. Cordone, is Jim still there? Yeah.
I am still here, so Lynn and Doug, again, I'm going to need you to help me out here. Our regular members are Steve, Mr. Elbaum, Mr. Saunders,
Right.
Mr. Mayo.
I'm an alternate.
Yeah,
I'm an alternate.
So Attorney Cordone, Commissioner Riley and Commissioner Rosansky are alternates, and I think Brian, or Commissioner Riley rather, voted last week. I think it might be appropriate to have Commissioner Rosansky vote this week.
Yeah, I think they both voted last week. So let's just alternate. Want to just alternate, right?
Oh, you're right. You're right, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so let's start off with Commissioner, alphabetically, we'll talk, Commissioner Riley. You win by 1 letter. Here we go. Let's start off with Commissioner Riley and then Commissioner Rosansky, vote on the next one, and then we'll go back to Commissioner Riley. How's that? Is that all right?
Yes, that's great. Thank you very much.
Sure.
All right, so Commissioner Riley will be sitting and will be able to voting and participate in the discussion now. And then Commissioner Rosansky will be doing the same on the next application. All right, my 2 cents. I went by the house today. There's actually a lot of screening. I realize it's the summer, but that's when you use your deck. They make a good point about other decks in the neighborhood. I don't know if they're encroaching or not, but they all seem to be in similar sized lots and push back into the back of the house. So presumably they're in easements as well. So it's consistent with the neighborhood. The amount of screening seems sufficient, and they do bring up a good point that their house was built before zoning took effect. So, presumably it would have given them greater ability to build at that time, and now zoning has limited that. Despite the opposition, I don't see a huge issue considering the neighborhood and what they're doing. Commissioner Krieger, any thoughts?
Well, I agree with what you're saying. I also would note the lot size is small, and the footprint of the proposed deck is relatively small as well.
Commissioner Riley, any comments?
No, I'm basically in the same camp with this. No comments.
Okay. Commissioner Mayo?
I have no comments, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Saunders?
I have a quick question for Mr. Cordone. Can pre-existing non-conforming can be considered a hardship?
I think our zoning regulations consider that we need to not expand nonconformity.
Okay. In the same boat, I mean, I live right around the corner. I drove by the property and, despite the objections of the abutting neighbor, I don't see it as being a huge intrusion.
Okay. Without further comments, I'll call a vote. Sorry, I should have started with a motion to approve application 20-21. I see Commissioner Saunders grinning because he knows I make that mistake all the time. Is there a motion to approve application 20-21?
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Mayo. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Krieger seconded. Now I'd like to call a vote. All in favor of, and we've had the discussion, all in favor of application 20-21, 43 Beach Street. Aye. Commissioner Krieger.
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Riley. Just for the record, please speak. Commissioner Riley, I see you raising your hand. Yes?
Aye.
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Mayo.
Aye.
Commissioner Saunders.
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. And as Mr. Cordone pointed out at the beginning, I'm going to have to call a roll call vote for every time, so please speak. I know we get into the tendency of raising our hands. Thank you. Application 20-21 passes.
Mr. Chairman,
Let me just see if there are any engineering notes. For application 20-21, the Assistant Town Engineer has provided us with notes for each of the applications. For that application, please note that crushed stone must be installed under the deck. Thank you. Sorry, I heard Mr. Wentz.
Oh, no, that's all right, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to make sure that you had seen that.
Thank you. Thank you. Application, move on to the next application. Sorry. I understand application 20-24 has been continued to the next meeting. Is that correct, Mr. Wentz?
Yes, it is, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Application 20
Mr. Chairman, we should just take a motion to continue that to the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Thank you very much. I'd like to hear a motion, as Mr. Cordone suggested, to continue application 20-24 to the next regular scheduled meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Riley made the motion. Is there a second?
Saunders seconds.
Commissioner Saunders, second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Elbaum Krieger is yes. I heard Riley. I heard Saunders.
Yes.
I heard Mayo and Commissioner Rosansky. Thank you. Unanimously moved to the next one. Although Riley is, so now Commissioner, we're all sitting and Commissioner Rosansky is voting on this one. This is so on the next one, which is application 20-31, 61 Sherman Avenue. Melinda Therault, please come forward.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Melinda Terrio, 61 Sherman Avenue.
Okay, please tell us about your application.
So I'm not sure if you drove by my property or not, but the pool is actually already up and installed. It was incorrectly measured and ordered, and it wasn't realized until the excavator came and they were trying to install it. It has to be 25 feet from each property line. I'm about 16.7 feet from the rear, 26.5 feet from the right side, and 23.7 feet from the left. Once I realized this error, I called Doug immediately, and we had a conversation about it. And he told me to try to go ahead and do this and file for a variance and hope for the best.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions. Commissioner Krieger, do you have any questions?
no.
Commissioner Riley, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Mayo, do you have any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Rosansky?
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Saunders? You're on mute, Rob. Commissioner Saunders?
Oh, no questions.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of application 20-31, 61 Sherman Avenue? Please come forward. Mr. Chin, is there anyone on the line in favor or in opposition?
I don't believe so.
Is there anyone who'd like to oppose application 20-31? Please come forward. Thank you. Hearing no one else in favor, no one opposed, I'd like to close the public hearing for application 20-31. Is there a motion to approve application 20-31?
Saunders makes a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Saunders. Is there a second?
Krieger seconds.
Commissioner Krieger seconded the motion to approve. Thank you. I mean, this is a relatively minor mistake and only requires a slight variance. I think this is pretty minor. I don't have any real issues here. Commissioner Krieger?
No issues.
Right. Commissioner Mayo?
No questions. I drove by there and looked at it, and I didn't really see anything wrong with it, so we're good.
Thank you. Commissioner Rosansky?
Also, I concur, no questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Saunders?
No questions.
Thank you. I'd like to move this to a vote. All in favor of application 20-31? I'll call the roll. Commissioner Elbaum's yes. Commissioner Krieger?
Yes.
Commissioner Mayo?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosansky?
Yes.
Commissioner Saunders?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's see, do we have any engineering notes? 20-31, there are no comments at this time. I'd like to reopen the public hearing. Application 20-32 Glenwood, 20-32, 22 Glenwood Drive, Veronica Oliveira de Souza for Jose Ricardo. Please come forward.
Yes, hi. This is Jose Ricardo. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Ricardo. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Just fine, just fine.
Veronica is not here, so I'm sorry. I thought she'd be here to help me out, but she's not.
Okay, that's fine. Tell us about your application, please.
Yes, hi. Yeah, we're trying to get approved to build a extra bedroom on the second floor of my property. So we have a teenager, and then we think that she can have a little bit more of privacy with her, a bigger bedroom and her own bathroom.
Mm-hmm. And as I understand it, the addition is going straight up on top of the house?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. And could you tell us about the deck and the pool as well?
Yes, I did get a permit to build a deck on the back, and I did not get for the pool because when I bought the pool, the guy told me that I only need a permit for in-ground pool. So I didn't know. And then, so that's why I never got a permit. And the deck, I did get it, but I make the deck bigger, and I did not get a permit to make that bigger.
Just give us a minute.
Sure.
Thanks very much. I don't have any questions. Commissioner Krieger, do you have any questions?
No.
Commissioner Riley, do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Mayo?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Rosansky?
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Saunders?
No questions.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of application 20-32, 22 Glenwood Drive? Please come forward. Is there anyone who'd like to speak in opposition to application 20-32, 22 Glenwood Drive? Please come forward. Mr. Chin, is there anyone else on the line who's trying to get in to speak?
It does not appear so, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chin. At this point, without any further questions or hearing from the public, I'd like to close the public hearing with respect to application 20-32. And I'd like to hear a motion to proceed with application 20-32. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Riley made a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Second. Commissioner Krieger made a second. Sorry. I think just like the last one before us, it's relatively minor. They're going straight up with the building. It looks actually quite nice from the plans. No real comments. Commissioner Krieger?
No questions. No comments.
And on this one, Commissioner Riley?
No, I think it's right on top of the existing structure. It looks terrific. It's no questions.
Okay. Commissioner Mayo?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Saunders?
No comment.
Okay. All in favor by roll. Commissioner Elbaum is a yes. Commissioner Krieger,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
yes, Commissioner Mayo,
Yes.
Commissioner Saunders.
Yes.
Okay, the final yes of the night. Thank you, Commissioner
I
Saunders.
did my best, Marv Albert.
You did. You did. You did. Let's leave it at that. Let's see, so it passes unanimously, Ms. Finger. We have engineering notes on this one, I believe. Prior to engineering approval, applicant must make an application to the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission. That's the last item in our agenda. Mr. Wentz or Mr. Cordone, is there anything else we need to address?
I do not have anything this evening.
I think we're good, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
Commissioner Riley made a motion. I know there was a real rush, but you know, he looks like he got to the finish line first. Is there a second?
A second?
Commissioner Krieger with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sounds good. Thank you very much to town staff, Mr. Chin, especially for having your child on screen. We all loved it. Okay.